Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Here we are with another episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101. Matt Ervin and Aaron Kennedy. Sorry we missed you guys last week. Chris was out. Glad to have him back today, and we're going to get you guys taken care of. So, Aaron, I know we got a lot to unpack today. Let's start on interest rates. What the heck is going on with interest and inflation?
This has been an absolute incredible week. It's been an incredible quarter. But this week we had our inflation numbers come out Tuesday, and not the greatest numbers. The market reacted like they really were good, but once we start really looking at it, inflation on the goods did come down, so that's very positive. Inflation on the service side is still going up.
It's pretty sticky, isn't it?
It's pretty sticky, and a lot of what they're telling us is it's through employment. Wages are going up. We have very low unemployment. So if you need a worker, you're going to have to pay him more than the next guy. And this is trickling through the economy very quickly. And this is we've talked about this so much we haven't seen inflation until it works its way through employment. And we're starting to see it now.
Well, you're hearing another set of layoffs today. I mean, some of it's just noise in the news, but there's been a lot of companies come out, but yet the new unemployment rates seem to be kind of staying low. But
yeah. Nothing's making a difference right now on the employment side, and we need it to. Remember, bad news is good news. That's where we are today. Lots of big companies, especially lots of big tech, are laying off people left and right. What were you telling me?
We saw
Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, we saw it trickle in the financial industry, which we were talking about that earlier. Typically in higher interest rate environments, financials do pretty well because they can charge more, but
yes.
Financials into a recessionary period is pretty brutal.
Yeah, you don't want to be there. And who wouldn't want to take out a big loan right before a recession?
Right before they lose their job, Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's tough. So inflation numbers were not good, but the market took it that way.
Right.
And I think year over year we went from 7.75 down to 7.1. Right. So it's trending in the right direction. But guys, 7.1 is not good.
Right. They're
and
talking
our target
2.
is 2.
Right.
Our target is 2. So we got a ways to go. Yeah. And that brings us directly to the next point. The Fed. They spoke this week.
Right.
And it was absolutely amazing. Once they got through speaking, the market spiked. And then it all disappeared. Because, yes, Powell is only raising by 0.5% instead of 0.75%. But he left this little nugget out there that, hey, it's going to go higher than what we're expecting. It's going to have to go higher than what everybody's modeling for.
Right.
And it's almost exactly the same thing he said last time.
Well, but you said that we talked about the dot plot and the terminal rates getting much higher than we thought they were. And even this morning, I was listening to a program coming in, and they basically redid their forecast for interest rates. So it's a pretty challenging headwind there to know what's coming because, they dropped to 5. But they're very prepared to, or I say 50 bips, right? So they're staying at 50 bips. But then the question comes is how long are they going to hold? Even if they go to 0, the pivot is not being talked about. So they may hold it in that high level for some time.
Right. And the pivot will come, but it's after we've experienced so much pain, something has to be done. If nothing has to be done, the Fed's going to be here. Because think back to the 70s. Well, I can't say that. Most of our clients are very young and
vibrant.
Yes. But we've gone through this playbook before. Early 70s, inflation was out of control. The Fed did what they're supposed to. They started raising interest rates, and lo and behold, they affected the economy. So they said, well, the economy is more important than inflation, and they started pivoting. And then inflation got out of control, and that led us to interest rates being in the double digits, the 18% mortgage rates, and all of that from the mid-'80s. So we've seen this work out, what happens when we pivot too early, and this is Jerome Powell's, this is his legacy. He wants to be a superhero. He wants to be...
well, he's going to overcommit to not pivoting, right? He's going to overcommit to the opposite so much that we may experience much more pain than we need to get this thing turned around.
He wants to be in the history books.
He will be.
He will be, one way or the other. So he's going to be tougher than we expect.
Yep.
And ever since the market realized that, and once they read what he said, other than reading just the first paragraph,
headline,
the market started coming down.
And it has. And that, we always want to try to end on a positive, and that was something we were talking a lot about before the show in preparation, because, energy came up, specifically oil investment, right? And we know that there's a lot of noise, what's happening with Saudi Arabia and China and Russia and all that. But we basically, oil has a lot of underinvestment.
Yes. I mean, probably the last 10 years, we have not been investing in oil. We went from the number one producer of oil in the world to giving that up and giving that back to OPEC. So if you look at things from a supply and demand, there's not a lot of supply. And even when Saudi Arabia says they can increase, go look at the numbers. They get to a point and they can't increase any more than that. So their supply is very limited. Ours is limited, but that is by our choice. And no matter how much we want to get off of
the dependency,
oil and gas, no matter how much we want to be electronic vehicles, no matter how much, we can't. One of the greatest things ever happened this week, fusion. We had a net effect on fusion, which is going to be free energy for everybody forever.
Right. So explain that, because before we started this, I didn't quite have a good grasp on that. So basically, you mash two amounts together and you get a net positive amount, meaning the sum is greater than the parts.
Right. And we've been able to do this in the past, but it's always taken more energy than it's created. Right. So what was so big about the announcement this week was, we created more energy than it took.
It's like 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah, we created energy. So this is huge. This is absolutely huge, and it's going to change the world. But just because it happened in a lab with two molecules does not mean we're ready to turn over our electricity to it. We're probably still 10 to 15 years away from that. Yeah. And still, I don't think we're going to be driving around in any fusion vehicles, or we're not going to be making fusion plastic.
Not today.
The need for oil is not going away anytime soon.
Right.
So, I mean, as a positive, if the Fed accomplishes what they want to do, and that means driving the economy into a recession, that's what they're trying to do. If they do that, oil has to come down. If we're not using as much stuff, if we're not buying as much stuff, oil has to come down from a demand standpoint. But this will be one area that you should invest, because the supply is not going to be there. It's going to be a scarce good. And these companies a lot of them pay fantastic dividends. You can get huge distributions on these things, and if you look at it as a 5 to 7 year hold, this is going to get exciting, and it's going to be fun. So I would look there.
So let's talk about it, right? So if anybody has any questions or wants to look more into it, let's talk about it. So we're getting really tight on time, Aaron, so I've got to cut you off there, but I appreciate your thoughts and insight. So we want to take care of everybody, and I hope everybody's enjoying the holiday season. We should get one more out before Christmas, I think, but nonetheless, we appreciate you guys so much. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call, shoot us an email, but if not, that's all we got for today on Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton and Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton and Associates Incorporated.